How often do you hear the phrase gender inequality? What does it mean to you? Furthermore, how has this phenomenon affected the lives of people? Good afternoon to you all. This is Human Affairs on Seetv Live, where we talk about different issues surrounding the lives of people. My name is Sandra Weinba, and I am your host on this program. This program intends to shed light on the affairs of the lives of different individuals and people generally. And we are kicking off the program with an issue which has eaten deep into society today, an issue which, try as many have, still seem to be prevailing in the society at large. What are we talking about? We're talking about gender inequality and its effects on the lives of people. Nowadays, you can still observe that old traditions has been able to flow through into modern society. In the past, the primary role of women was defined as being a wife and the mother who kept the fireplace burning and run the house, whilst the husbands are providers. Moreover, you can still observe the employers who give their preference to male employees rather than to female workers. Why does this happen? We'll find out soon. But first, let's understand what it means, what gender inequality means. Gender inequality denotes the unequal treatment of individuals based on their gender. The term acknowledges that men and women are not equal due to cultural, biological, and psychological norms. They are treated disadvantageously under the same circumstances. We're going to go on a short break now. When we come back, we're going to have a guest who is going to take us through what gender inequality means. Stay tuned and don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is Human Affairs, and we've been talking about gender inequality and its effects on the lives of people. Before we went on a break, I told you we're going to have a guest with us who will be taking us through what gender inequality means and, shed more light on its effect to the society. Who am I talking about? We're talking about Ambassador Mercy Ifeanyi Daniel Oka, the founder and president of Women's Center for the Family International, also the founder and president of Mercy Youth Assembly in Nigeria. You're welcome, Ma.
Thank you, Sandra. God bless you. Thank you. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Ma. It's nice to have you here with us.
Yes, it's a privilege for me to join you as well. For me, it's an honor. Thank you.
All right, Ma. So, Ma, on this show today, we've been talking about gender inequality and how it has affected, the lives of individuals. We've been hearing a lot of people advocating for gender equality, because of different, you know, things that have sprung up in the past, domestic violence and different things that we hear about. So, can you just, help us? Can you tell us about gender equality or gender I can hear you clearly, Ma.
Sorry, a call distracted me.
Oh, that's fine, Ma.
Okay, thank you. I heard your question, and when it comes to inequality or equality,
Okay.
what comes to mind first is gender. And
Yes.
then there is no way we talk about gender these days or even in the past without relating it with equality and inequality.
True.
These two terms or terminologies are closely related with humanity. And we knowing that gender has to do with sexuality of man,
Yeah.
that is the characteristics of human
Mm-hmm.
and the formation of human.
Humans.
And being a human, you either be a male or a female, or a man or a woman. And
True.
that is what gender is. Through gender, existence of the word gender or the terminology gender, we can see what equality and inequality is and the roles inequality as regard gender based is something that is debatable and clearly visible and also unavoidable
True.
because really it exists. But what differentiates it is the level of existence, either speaking for or against it.
Mm.
Like equality existing in some societies and inequality existing more in another society.
Yeah.
So it is something that is part of life. But every society, according to what parts equality or inequality play in their lives or development or growth, tells which way the country is swinging to. Like we
Mm.
have the developed societies and
True.
we have developing societies and
Societies.
we have the underdeveloped
Developed societies.
societies.
Yes.
So Western underdeveloped societies or developing societies, you see them battling between inequalities
Inequalities.
or trying to live above inequality to become an equal society. So it's something that is, but then I think I'm going to say, and also as a woman. Are you further?
Yes. All right. Thank you. That was really extensive. Thank you very much. All right. So what do you think, at the causes? I mean, gender inequality did not just start. What do you think as the likely causes? What caused inequality to become so rampant in the society?
Okay. Like I said, every society have this gender thing, whether westernized, whether overdeveloped or underdeveloped or developing. Gender equality and inequality is very, very common and in existence in all societies. And the causes are very clear to us. Even from the time of creation, we're made to believe, I don't want to sound religious, that man was created first.
True.
Like Adam came.
Yes.
And then I think if you ask me, gender things started from the time of
Creation. True.
If we were to go back to the time of creation, God actually made man first and now put man to sleep to create a woman. So, and naturally, it is a natural thing, even in the family, where you can say, okay, I'm the first child. And the last one can never be compared to the first one. So, I think that thing, gender, the causes is biological, it's scientific, it's economical, it's social, it is political, it is religious.
True.
So these are the things that promote, or let me use the word promote, gender equality or inequality. And if you ask me what are the causes, there's no way we talk about equality without mentioning inequality.
Yes.
In one society, they are talking about gender equality. In another society, they are fighting to move from
inequality to equality.
Yes, to equality. So for each time I mention equality, I must bring in inequality as the opposite, because I'm going to be speaking for and against. So the causes also lies on the society involved or on focus or as a case study. But on a general note, it is caused by biological reasons, which are natural from birth, because even from the time a woman puts to bed, oh, madam, what is the sex
of your baby?
And it's like, a boy. And you see someone saying a bouncing
baby boy.
There's this kind of excitement
joy
that comes after the announcement of a male child, that is higher than that of a female. Whatever led to this, I can't explain, but we all came into life to see these things happen.
Yes.
So, biologically, scientifically, or even physically, there is gender type of difference between a male and a female born child. And now these are the things that have led to promoting either equality or inequality in gender as it exists in every society today. Now there are other things that lead to either equality or inequality, but I think inequality stands first because that is the let me use the word, the negative aspect of gender. Yes. From my own point of view, and even based on research and whenever we go into this, the studies have always, laid emphasis on, inequality.
Inequality, yeah, true.
So that's whatever causes this drives through the society, humanity, existence of people, and population of a particular region, maybe geographical location, state, country, race, continent, and in this mentioned aspect of spaces that human occupy in on earth, when you see a man, you see a woman.
Mm-hmm.
So the population of human on earth is occupied, apart from the animals or other things that exist on earth. Human, when you talk gender, you talk man and woman.
Mm.
So society promotes the causes
Of
either
gender
equality or inequality or
inequality.
gender thing,
Mm.
yes, in wherever we exist as human. So the spaces are either caused by religious belief,
Mm.
cultural belief,
Believe.
our norms, and even rules and regulations,
Mm.
legislative concern, and tradition, also in politics, also in social and way of life. Statistics to show to religion, otherwise are the causes of inequality and inequality.
Okay. Okay.
Or we call the norms and laws and rules.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so very much, Ma, for that. Now, I want to know. I mean, there have been, different people advocating for this gender equality, because of how inequality has, eaten so deep into, people's mind and all. So a lot of people have been advocating for equality here, even in this part of the world. So what are we to say is that thing that they're pushing for, fine, they're saying equality. We don't know um how that can be achieved, but what is that question, what are they trying to solve, what is that, I don't know how to put it, what's that point they're trying to hit.
I understand you.
Yes, okay, ma.
From this. I remember when I was an undergraduate from the University of Calabar.
Okay,
It's over 20 years back. There are bad network issues.
yeah, network
So
is
I'm
bad.
trying to say back in the days of over 20 years ago when I was still an undergraduate from University of Calabar, where I studied my first degree in sociology. Up to this level, social inequality and equality as a cause. And there we saw a lot of writers, a lot of scholars from as way back as early 19th, 18th centuries, 19th centuries, even before 20th and 21st century, everything really about inequalities and equalities in societies, areas, using so many countries as a case study. And coming to what you're asking of now, a lot of writers, a lot of media hype, a lot of discussions have been on and on. Ministries have been created, organizations, NGOs to talk about, social equalities and inequalities, how to bridge the gap, and the situation caused by inequalities in the society. And then you're also talking about how is it viable? Is it really working? Are they really actually making any point or mark? And are they growing into a stage where they can say, okay, look back and say, look at the things we have achieved, and so far at this stage there is improvement or there are changes. Well, I would say yes and I would say no. Like when I started, I said everything that has gender discrimination or equality and inequality in society is being controlled.
Yeah, we can hear you, man.
Yeah, so I need this network to free.
Network is
The
terrible.
network issue here. Sandra, you there?
I can hear you,
That
man.
is a factor of it. And this is also, it's a sign of inequality in our network supply.
Yeah, true.
Okay, so let's manage what we have because we're in it already.
Yes.
I'll try. Let's keep trying. I'm trying to say that a lot of organizations and units have come up with a lot of write-up, a lot of media exposure, suggestions, ideas, interviews, books, talking against inequality,
True.
view inequalities, structures and standards and disadvantages in different countries, especially like in Nigeria where we come from. And your question, of is it alright of really going fast, touch life and impact people and change situations? Because there are so many ill situations that come from in a state of inequality. And
Yes.
the disadvantages and effects and the negative impact it has on people who are victims or people who are suffering in this situation. Actually, yes, a lot is being done in Western societies, which I don't want to talk much of, is that they are on a very high standard of creating a level of equality due to their level of civilization,
True.
growth, development, and
Exposure.
structural balance, both economically, socially, politically, intellectually, and otherwise. But Nigeria, where we come from, we are also trying our nation, but we have lapses in one or the other. There's no country that comes to a perfect stage of fighting inequality to a level of 100% because even in the United States of America, there is still gender
inequality.
They can't get to. You see,
I can hear you, man.
yeah, hello. Okay, I'm trying to say that even in using the United States of America as a world leader as an example, it was just of recent a woman emerged the vice president of America, which was celebrated all over the world.
True.
That is a state of gender equality
Mm.
rising.
Yes.
Maybe soon a woman will become the president someday
True.
in America. That is a breakthrough. So
Big
even in
breakthrough.
developed nations, there is still inequality going on. It's
Inequality.
something because of how nature have made it seem, it is very, very difficult to expunge or eradicate.
Mm-hmm.
But at least some societies are making impact. Nigeria, as an example, being the African giant of Africa
Giants.
and number one in Africa, we are also trying. If you see the inequalities or the effect of inequality and discrimination as gender-based related in Nigeria
Mm-hmm.
has been before it used to be like 100 to 0%
Mm.
ratio between male female, but right now I can tell you it has come up even up to ratio 60 to 40 based on
Mm.
my own assessment
Okay.
because women are beginning to function well and better in Nigeria. Even if we've
Yes.
not produced the president or vice president, sometimes we have produced female governors, commissioners, ministers,
Mm-hmm.
in serious and delicate positions
Positions.
of either the judiciary, the legislative,
Legislative.
or even the yes, or even as leaders in leadership, administrative position, in
Mm.
offices, you name it.
Mm-hmm.
Even the richest woman in Africa, as I hear, is Alakija. She's a Nigerian.
Yes.
Following show Alakija, she's a
Alakija.
Nigerian. We have the likes of Kojo Iwala, late Dora Kuyeli, even
Yes.
Whoopi Goldberg. I mean, what's her Oprah Winfrey. I don't want to keep mentioning the old names we know of, but they are still high rising
Women
women
holding on
that
to good positions.
hold, and what led to this is based on education,
Mm.
exposure.
Exposure.
Some of the questions you've asked that these things we hear about, these people are writing, talking, is it really making impact or making impact in
Mm-hmm.
changing the effect or discrimination in gender equality and inequality
Mm-hmm.
of whichever way is being practiced in any
Mm-hmm.
society. So actually it is working. Just that the pace at which the impact is felt differs from one society to
To
another based
another.
on their level of yes, their level
Exposure.
of structural development in terms
Okay.
of maybe their legislature, their rules and regulations, their
Patience.
norms, their belief system, their leaders, and structures on ground. So it is a yes, and it is we keep talking about them like you have decided to run an interview on this to create awareness
Awareness.
more,
Yes.
more. In some years back, as a woman, you don't even have the right to talk about gender equality. There are some societies that won't even allow you to talk about it.
That's true.
Topic like this are being screened and regulated. You don't just come out and talk about it. But now there is freedom of speech through the media, through lectures, through symposium, through the government, through schooling, through every even online means of
Yes.
educating people.
Mm-hmm.
So people now know their rights and they talk about it and they defend it, and I'm talking about gender, not about other issues, maybe political issues or economic issues. I'm talking about gender now, where a
Mm.
woman can express herself and a
Self.
man can express himself, but
Mm.
still there is a limit.
Mm-hmm.
And that is why you and I were talking today. Because as it was 10 years ago,
All
it's not
right.
as it is today. And the
True.
reason you and I were talking about this today is to make it better in the next 5 years.
That's true.
Maybe by then, a woman like me or you will just be the president of Nigeria.
That's beautiful. That would be amazing.
And everybody's comfortable with it. So we're
Yes.
very, very amazing. So we're at that stage, though it is, it is, it is a very tedious movement,
Mm.
but I believe we'll get there. If you are a candidate to this, you are beautiful and express yourself and dress the way you like and not guided and told not to wear what
Wear
you're
such
wearing,
some things, yes.
can appear on the screen. Yes, there's a level of freedom that we've attained, and I can sit here without any permission from the government or anybody
True.
to talk back to you.
True.
We are improving, and we're actually every organization in charge of speaking out and up, either for or against gender equality or inequality, have been doing a great job, and it's all drive towards equality status of every class of people.
Okay. Okay, that's amazing. That is really, really amazing. So, you mentioned something about
Thank you.
family now, starting, this the whole talk should start from, family. When they give birth to a child, the kind of things that are being impacted into the child, you know. So I want to find out now. Do you think if gender equality is being practiced in homes, like starting from the family setting now, do you think it can bring about a change, of, the way people think, in society? I mean, the first point of contact for any child is actually from their house before they now go out into society to learn new things. Now, do you think if gender equality, not inequality now, equality is started from the household, there would be like a positive impact in society, towards not exactly eradicating it, but towards balancing it in society?
Very correct, Sandra. The question you asked is a very is like a key start because every community started from the family. Every society, every nation developed from the family of father, mother in unification before creation. And before you see a community, you see bring community. So it is the family that is the smallest unit of the society and the community. Something that radiates from the family becomes a positive, a plus for the society. The best place to start practicing equality, gender equality is from the home, from the
From the
family.
home.
So even if there's going to be a sensitization to it must start from creating awareness from the family, the father, the mother, and the children, because that inequality actually takes place after delivery of a child. Now we see the sex of the baby. Oh, she's a woman. Keep her here. She's a female. Let her be on the right side. Oh, he's a male child. Let him be celebrated more uniquely, more explosive than that of the female. So if the family can practice gender equality from that point of delivery to the time a baby is nurtured, from infancy to adolescence to teenage to adulthood, there will be a sense of equity between a male child and a female child. So the family has a big role to
Crucial
play, and
role
it is
to play.
important for families to know. And what makes up families? Different people from diversified ethnic group, religion, culture, practices. There are some societies, like where I come from. I've treated this in my mentorship program before. Why are female children not recognized so well in their family? Even why are they not willed? Properties are not willed to them. Signs of inequalities and inequalities in families and how you go to today. If you're a female entitled to everything, it is believed that you get married and you're out, and that you're out to another family, so nothing should be accorded to you. Some families believe female children should not be trained in school as much as the male because it's an investment. You invest on them, another man comes to marry them, is a loss. And look at that brain drain. They're just, discrimination that leads to promotes ignorance and literacy, and it can help to kill a nation because education is the key to development and growth. So many societies today have hindered women out of these family issues from being properly educated or enlightened or
Mm-hmm.
encouraged. The
Mm-hmm.
limitations facing them is so much, and when they are hindered like that, that is what generated into women are sexually abused, domestic violence against women, battery of wives and the girl child, and so many
Mm.
of these negative things that we are seeing here and there today. And that is what also has promoted prostitution among the
True.
girl child and early marriage. So many that we can mention. All of these exist from the family. And if the
Okay.
family is properly informed to promote gender equality, the girl child will be respected from the time of birth. The brothers will be respected. A full member of the family with all rights and network.
I can hear you, ma.
The family, the society, actually placing equality in gender among their you see both the male and female child treated the same way equally. And the children, both male or female, we see themselves as the same. They won't have limitations to both education, property,
Mm.
rights, exposure and expressing themselves. And this helps because there are so many women out there today who is and if you tap into what they have, it will make a family standard, it will make a society something of good reputation.
Okay.
So we women are underestimated so much that they are underused brain wise, intellectual wise, physical strength, so many things women can do, and women
All right.
multitask a lot. I'm not speaking for women alone, but from the family, if equality is promoted in gender, you see that it will radiate, it will be a movement, it will spill into the society,
Society.
and it will help.
All right.
Yes.
Thank you very much, ma. If you've been
Thank you,
following
Sandra.
us, we've been talking about gender inequality and we've been able to shed light on what causes gender inequality, what it means and how it has been affecting, the society at large. We're going on a short break now. When we get back, we'll continue from where we stopped. Stay tuned. All right. Welcome back. Said before we went on the short break, we've been talking about gender inequality and how it has affected the society. Has been taking us through what gender inequality is, and she has given us a very deep insight on how it has affected the society at large, and how, how we can bring about a sort of balance, with equality in the society. And we're going back to the remaining, the rest of the questions. We're going to run through it, and you can learn more. So don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. Yes, ma. Good afternoon, ma. Thank you so very much for your time. Like, you've been really amazing today. So we still have a few questions, that I know a lot of us have in our hearts, in our minds. We've been trying to answer them, but we've been unable to, you know. Now, now we're talking about the corporate organizations. A lot of people have complained
Yes,
about certain treatments that they have faced in their different, organizations where they work.
yes,
Certain
yes.
standards are set that affects, a particular gender over the other. So we just want to know, what do you think about segregation, in corporate organizations when it comes to leadership, promotions, employment as a whole? What do you think about segregation in organizations
Well,
in
from my
relations
own
to gender
point of view,
inequality?
in relation to, thank you, Sandra, in relation to gender inequalities at workplaces, I
Mm,
want to be very direct. Um, from the general point of view, before my own personal view, it exists.
okay.
It is it is existing in almost every. In fact, that's one of the places that gender inequalities is highly practiced
Mm-hmm.
in places of work, corporate organizations
Mm,
where there are limitations. There are limitations that work against the female agenda, that a woman essentially is the owner, corporate owner of the organization,
mm-hmm.
cannot get to the level of maybe a director, a national or regional director,
Director.
because those positions are kept for men.
Mm,
It is seen as a masculine position, a
position.
position that is meant for the male. For what reason, whatsoever the reason, it is still coming from behind, from the past. And so far, I can say, based on research, based on exposure, education, qualification, those bounds and limitations are being breached or reduced
Mm,
to a reasonable level in our
okay.
own time, in this era, as compared to what it used to be before.
Mm,
But there are still some organizations. I've gone for an interview before 8 years ago. I think it was around 2014, yeah, seven
okay.
years ago. And I went in as a sales manager.
Mm,
I came in, and the director, the chairman, owner of that marketing firm, because I'm a trained marketer,
okay.
looked at me, and he actually published on Guardian newspaper, and he specified that he wanted males to apply
Wow.
for manager in that position.
Wow.
And I didn't know because someone informed me, and I went as a female.
Hmm.
But from my name is my name is Ifeanyi. My common name is Ifeanyi. So
Okay.
going by my name,
It's
by the time
unisex. A
they
lot
called
of
me,
people.
he didn't know that it's a lady that will come in. So he
Mm,
also, because the man, I think he doesn't even want a woman. So a woman should not
wow.
even come before him.
Wow.
But somehow I was made face him as the chairman, the owner of the company. And
Mm,
maybe somehow, at times there's some strength a woman carries
true.
and some aura you carry.
Mm-hmm.
You get into a place, even if they don't want to hear you out, you just find your way talking. And somebody who doesn't want to listen to you just hears you out. So,
True.
and the man just looked at me, as disgusting as it is for him to face a woman, he was able to talk to me, and he wanted to meet me. And as it was, I think I bust his bubble or whatever. I did so well in that interview. And
Yes.
all the man could say is that with your working experience and everything you said you've done for other companies, they sound so too good to be true. And I don't just want to believe that you achieved all of this.
Wow.
And he said, I can't believe you achieved all of this. It's still all about these limitations. I don't want to go further in that.
True.
But at the end, I got the job and I worked there for a year and I made a difference till date. So it is it is happening in corporate organizations every day, and now it depends on the level or the structure of each organization to determine the level of the woman that they want to hire. So
All right. Well, sorry about that little break in transmission. Can you hear me, Ma?
clearly, I'm just sorry about this. I hope it's not from my own side. I'm checking out my strengths. I think there is still service on my strength.
Yeah, the thing it's fluctuating, but we can hear you clearly, loud and clear.
Okay. I was trying to talk about inequalities and gender discrepancies and discrimination at workplaces, using Nigeria as a case study, or Africa, or the world at large. It is something that is existing everywhere, but the level of existence of it or visibility depends on the rules and structures of each organization. There are some organizations you go to, women are the high flyers,
Okay.
but still, time have come to showcase the strength of women in Nigeria, for example, all over the world. Time have evolved, education, experience,
True.
innovation,
True.
empowerment have brought women naturally to a level that they, they can no longer be underestimated. They can no women have done so well that
True.
you don't go there and see men strive. Those are those are ascribed, they are achieved by women who have done so well and they have set the record based on a serious display of integrity, intellectual prowess, ability. capability,
True.
responsibility, visibility.
Mm.
There is a way you will be so good in an area that nobody denies you of that position
True.
anymore.
True.
So that is another thing that has helped to fight gender
Gender
inequalities in
inequality.
the world.
Mm.
Women that have exceptionally grown from 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 what's that from grass to grace.
Mm.
Women that have exceptionally worked so hard to place themselves where they are through
Mm.
strength, through zeal, through physical ability and intellectual capacity,
Capacity.
they kind of some positions. We
Mm.
have seen aeronautical engineers, we have seen engineers, we have seen
Mhm.
pilots, female
Mhm.
pilots, we have
Mhm.
seen female governors, ministers, vice presidents, entertainers. These women made it to the top on their own, not minding the limitations that
True.
was set against them.
Yes.
So, but in organizations now, there are some organizations you visit, women have made it a clear win and it becomes a win-win situation. When
Mhm.
they think about in this department, especially in marketing, women have broken that jinx of companies now look for pretty ladies, intelligent ladies
Mm.
to promote their brands
Brands.
and put them
Yes.
in front of marketing.
True. True.
Image making of organizations
Mhm.
lies in the hands of women.
Yeah,
You
that's
know,
true.
ability to speak well, vocabulary,
Mhm.
and their ideas and all.
Mhm.
Women have done well in those areas, but
Even
still
even in terms of
discrimination exists.
presentation of those brands,
Yes,
representations.
yes. And these are the strengths that women have had all these years,
Mm.
but because of this traditional, local, religious belief systems that have,
Mm.
taken over the mindset
Mm.
of some of our societies
Mm.
that put women behind. And that's where you see some people say women are meant to be in the other room or in the kitchen or in the bedroom.
Yes.
But women multitask a lot that even after being in the bedroom, these days women are career minded, women are career minded, women have achieved a lot even as mothers.
True.
After the bedroom, after the kitchen, after the family, they are also capable to run businesses in
Businesses of
corporate
their own.
organizations.
That's true. Thank you.
So the gap is being bridged from that corporate organization level. It used to be worse than it is now, but time have evolved. Changes have carried women. There are so many highly independent women out there now doing their things through entrepreneurship, through empowerment programs, through career development for themselves,
Mhm.
through working for the government and even as in private sectors, even in the government. So on that level, I think the gap is being
It's being
bridged
breached
as
somehow.
far as as possible and is getting better by the
Thank
day.
you.
But it is still existing in some places like the north. I don't want to go that way, but like there are some parts of the world, like in Nigeria, in
Mm.
the north, women are still restricted
Okay.
more than in the south here,
Mm.
maybe in Lagos or in the cities. When
Mm.
you go to the north and some rural areas, women are still underestimated, and that
Okay.
level of growth is really hindered in corporate organizations.
Talking about what you just said. Now you mentioned the rural areas. You know, that is, if we're looking at the urban setting and the rural setting, we find out that equality, gender equality, is a bit more supported
Yeah.
in the urban setting than in the rural setting. Can you hear me, ma?
Yeah, but repeat it. Repeat your question, please.
Yeah, you were talking now about the rural setting. Now I am saying,
Yes.
if we look at urban setting and the rural setting, we find out that equality, gender equality is more, obtainable, is more accepted here in, the urban setting than in the rural setting.
Yes.
So what do you think is the cause? What do you think is the cause of that?
Okay. I think it's a very vital question you have asked. Sandra, are you with me?
Yes, I'm with you. I'm with you.
You see, in the urban developed setting, exposed setting, educated setting, while the rural areas we can describe them as maybe primitive setting,
Mm.
low